What if the most pivotal moments in history left more than just records behind? They left spirits. Welcome back to The Common Historian, where history meets the supernatural. I'm Jeremy, the Common Historian. Tonight, I'm joined by Blaine Rohan, retired Air Force veteran shaman and medium who's been seeing spirits since the age of 4. We're exploring his 2 decades of paranormal investigation. So grab your favorite beverage, dim the lights, and prepare to journey into the world where history refuses to stay buried. Welcome, Blaine. How are you tonight?
Man, I'm doing good, Jeremy. I appreciate you having me on the show. And actually, I've been
Oh,
doing investigations since 1985, so I'm year 41 now
oh,
doing
so I was a
investigations.
little off. I was a
Hey,
little
it's all
off on
good.
my.
But yeah, I've been seeing and hearing spirits since I was 4 that I remember.
Yeah.
I grew up right across the street from an old graveyard that nobody knew
Oh,
who owned it. It was dilapidated. It had like holes in graves. But me and my grandmother would go there because we could pick the best blackberries and plums, and they were free. And she'd take them and make cakes and pies out of them. Well, we were coming back. We had like 2 grocery sacks full blackberries, plums, and blueberries that were wild, strawberries too. And our street was a busy street with a lot of traffic on it. So my grandmother went across and said, hold on. Because usually we walked across the street together. And then I hear this lady crying behind me, and I turn and I see this lady in this beautiful white dress over this grave, and she just bawling. I mean, just crying her eyes out. And me being the little Southern gentleman I am, because I'm from Alabama,
yeah.
I go over to her. I said, "Ma'am, are you okay?" And as soon as I said that, she looked at me, smiled, and says, "I'm okay now." And then
Oh,
as soon as I saw her, dude, she was gone. And I come back to the street, and I waited for traffic like I was supposed to. My grandmother was like, "Come on, come on, come on." I get across the street. She goes, "I knew you saw him. I knew you saw him." And so ever since that day, I've seen him every day of my life. I mean, and I was in the Air Force for 26 years, went all over the world, saw him all over the world. But this is funny. My first investigation, we were stationed I was stationed at Norton Air Force Base in California.
yeah.
And me and about 3 buddies were sitting in what they call a day room. They had a TV in there, a pool table, a place where we could go just kick back at the dorms. We're sitting there watching Helter Skelter on TV, and I'm like, dude, we're only 60 miles away from there. So we load up. This is what we had our first investigation. We had a Polaroid camera. We have what I call a Lackland laser, which is an Air Force flashlight they give you. It's got a tube on the end of it. Looks like a small version of a, what do you call them things from Star Wars?
Lightsaber or whatever they're like.
Lightsaber. Yeah.
Yeah.
And an old cassette recorder. So we load up in the car, 4 of us, and we drive up there and find Cielo Drive. Dude, this is old days for GPS, so we mapped it. Well, we went and
Oh,
stopped at the gas station, got a map, and literally mapped it from San Bernardino over into LA, up in the Hollywood Hills, where the house was. Well, I knew if I didn't go on the property, I'm not trespassing. So we stayed right on the curb. And at the time we were there, the house that Sharon Tate was murdered at was no longer there. It was bought, and they bought 2 properties and put the house in the middle of the 2 properties, have a bigger property. Well, we've been there maybe 5-10 minutes, and an LA County sheriff came up there and asked us what we're doing. This is before you had a term for ghost hunting, dude. It's like, we're trying to find ghosts. And he said, "I get off in 5 minutes. You mind if I come back?" I'm like, "Dude, you come back. That means I don't get in trouble. Come on back. We'll let you do it." And this is what we caught. We caught nothing on the Polaroid camera. The flashlight was just there just to have a flashlight. On the cassette recorder, we caught the first voice I got was a male's voice. And I said, "What do you do for a living?" And the EVP we caught was, "I cut hair." Well, Jay Seaman was a stylist to the stars. He was like a Vidal Sassoon type.
yeah.
He was big in Hollywood. Well, the next one gets a female voice. And I asked her, I said, "What do you do?" And she said, "Coffee." Well, that was Abigail Folger from the Folger Fortune. And
Yeah.
then the last one we caught was Sharon Tate saying, they killed me, they killed my baby. So that was my first 3 EVPs I ever called.
Wow. Wow. Those are some good EVPs to be your first.
Especially on an old cassette recorder, man, because we didn't, I mean, it's before you had headphones and stuff, so you had to listen to the little cheap speaker that was on the cassette recorder, but you could hear the words clear as day. I wish I still had that tape, but all the military travel and moving I did, it got lost along the way somewhere. But I never forget what they said,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
You always remember your first investigation.
oh yeah, man. Well, I got to give you a funny story about the shirt I've got on. It says doing supernatural shit.
Yeah.
Well, Gwen Johns, who you had on the show,
Yeah.
and Lee Brown, who was on the show, we were up in North Carolina about to investigate the USS North Carolina. We got there a day early. So Lee had already went to bed. Me and Gwen were out there just playing the ghost box. And we're out there doing our thing. And one of the owners of the hotel, this is like midnight, he comes out there and hears us doing a ghost box. And he's like, y'all over here doing supernatural shit? Y'all trying to haunt my hotel? I said, no, sir, your hotel's already haunted. And dude, his eyes got as big as saucers. He ran back in that door and he wouldn't look at me or Gwen the rest of because we stayed there another couple of days because we investigated the next night and stayed, got some rest because I had to drive back to Alabama and they had to drive back to South Carolina.
Yeah.
Well, he would not come to us. He would not even look at us. I just thought it was hilarious because everywhere I go is haunted anyway. And hotels especially are haunted.
Yeah.
Because you have so much energy pass through there. And you don't know how many people just died in their sleep overnight or somebody got killed in a hotel.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff like that didn't get reported.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very true. There's, a lot of it didn't get reported. So
yeah, well, I probably investigated over the 41 years, probably 2,000 to 3,000 different places all over the country and all over the world. So I got to investigate the pyramids, inside the pyramids.
Oh,
that was fun.
That sounds fun.
I've done German castles. I've done breweries. I've done, I don't know how much stuff overseas I've done.
Wow.
I did some stuff down in Panama when I was stationed there, California. I've probably been to like most of the major sites that are paranormal activity on. There's some I haven't been to yet, and that's on my bucket list to go to.
Yeah.
A few other places I haven't been to, But yeah, I've been doing this so long. And I'll tell you another funny story. All right. Let me tell you this story first before I tell you this story. Okay. Let me give you the history of clowns and dolls. Okay. Clowns were made, were started out as evil. If you go back in history and look up what's called the highwaymen,
Yeah.
they would paint their faces up all happy face and they rape, rob, and pillage people on their travels. Okay, so clowns weren't evil. Then you go to John Wayne Gacy, that just certified it right there.
Yeah.
Dolls were originally made to house the souls of the dead. So I go to this house here in Alabama. The first room, this lady had 7 years, lifted itself up and flew toward the door. Well, I played baseball in Alabama. So I'm a baseball player. I swung like I was trying to hit a home run. I hit thing, knocked it back. I finished the rest of the house. And that was the last room but yeah, having a creepy ass clown doll come flying at me. It didn't scare me, it made me mad.
Oh.
The only thing I've ever had scare me on an investigation was a live armadillo.
Oh.
They're always like dead on the side of the road. And we were at this old church that was dilapidated, still had the graveyard there. The church was somewhat still standing. I hear this noise ruffling. This is probably like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, maybe 1. And I heard this thing rustling. I was like, oh, that's probably a deer or something else. And this armadillo come walking out. And I was like, what in the hell is that? Because I've never seen one live before.
Wow.
That's the only thing that's ever scared me on that investigation. It didn't scare me. It startled me because I've never seen one alive.
Is it different? Is it like investigating in America compared to like, in other countries? Is it?
Dude, it's there's the way I look at it, everything is energy, okay? And there's some more older energy that lives like in Europe. In America, besides the Native Americans who have been here for millennia,
Yeah.
Europe was interestingly haunted. Like one of the castles we did, there was a tour that you could take to Morale, Welfare, and Recreation, the MWR, and it was called the Rhine Castle Wine Tour. And every castle you went to, they pulled up in a boat. You got off on the dock. You went up a whole big line flight of stairs, and all of them were like a way above the water. And about the third one we hit, I see this man standing there. And I don't know if you know what a beefeater costume is.
Yeah. Yeah. I do.
It's like the beefeater. What is it? One of the liquors has a beefeater on it.
Yeah.
Vodka.
Yeah.
Well, there was a perfect example of a beefeater sitting there, and none of the other castles had anything like that. I think, okay, they were trying to be special. And I walked up to him, and it was in German. And he said, "Guten Tag, good morning." I was like, "Well, guten Tag to you too," And then the people that were with me on the tour, they're like looking like, "Who the hell is this dumbass talking to?" So they didn't see him. I did.
Oh,
But he was a ghost of that castle. I was like, "This is pretty cool."
that that is pretty cool.
And see, I didn't drink wine, so I just went on the tour to see the castles. Now, every castle you went to, they give you a glass of wine from their own vineyard, but I didn't drink wine, so I was
Yeah.
sober all day. Get up. So I wanted to see the castles. I'm the history buff that I am. I wanted to see castles,
Yeah.
and I got to see them, and that was pretty fun. Scotland, it was a whole different story. The spirits over there, they have a lot of what they call elementals.
Yeah.
They're nature spirits, and they can be very mean or they can be very nice to you. It depends on how you show up, because they're there basically to protect the land. That's what their job is. So I'm always kind with spirits. I never provoke. I think it's the dumbest thing you could ever do.
Yeah.
Well, you think about it. If I come to your house and the first thing I do is start dog cussing you and calling you names, you're going to do two things to me. One or two things. You're going to put a foot in my ass and put me out the door, or you're going to shoot me. One of the two.
Yeah.
So I do the same thing with spirits. I treat them with dignity and honor, because one time they were human spirits. They were human bodies. And so I treat them with respect. And the elementals in Scotland and Ireland, as long as you treated them fairly and leave them little gifts, I mean, little stupid things that you would never think would be a gift, like an acorn or a piece of fruit, or even tobacco from a cigarette, even if it was just the littlest bit of tobacco you left them. To them, it was like giving them $10 million. So they always treated you nicely. But other people will get there and try to make them mad. I'm like, you're just dumb. I said, you're messing with stuff you don't know what you're messing with. You treat them with respect because they are energy beings. Well, some of them had to find out the hard way. I had a couple of people that was with us that provoked them and got pushed and scratched and clawed and tripped, had their hair pulled. I'm like, and I laughed at every one of them. I said, I told you before you came here, do not provoke anything, because you don't know what these spirits are or how old these spirits are or what they are.
Yeah, because I imagine there's some of them that are very ancient.
Oh, dude, some of those over there are this, and it's weird, dude. You think that the spirits over there would speak in their native tongue. Some of them do, but a lot of them know English.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that don't understand is, once they become spirits, they learn and they adapt to whatever you are. Now, I've caught a lot of them that'll speak, French or Italian or Old Gaelic, in like Ireland.
Yeah.
And I've others that just speak plain, beautiful English where you can understand it. It's amazing that they could do stuff like that.
Yeah, that's great. I know it sounds like you've been. Have you investigated at all in like Asia or anything like that?
I never got a chance to
I was just
because,
curious because I know that
well,
there's.
I'll tell you this though. When I was on a temporary duty assignment to Korea. We went there every year. They had this little thing they call Team Spirit. We called it Team Stupid because it was just dumb. You sit there for 2 weeks, and basically, if they sent you in wintertime, you froze to death because it was just butt cold. Well, I had made friends with a Reiki master over there, and he said, "I'll train you." So his payment, I had to give him a bottle of Jack Daniels. So I go to the Classic store, which is the liquor store on base, buy him a bottle of Jack. I trained with him 2 times. Third time I showed up with the bottle, he says, "I can't train you no more. You're stronger than I am." I'm like, this is from a Reiki master. Well, I didn't realize my grandmother, who's Native American that I talked about earlier,
Yeah.
she's Cherokee. Well, she taught me, and every culture has some form of energy healing, which Reiki is. It's just energy healing or energy progression or whatever you want to call it. Well, my grandmother taught me to be a Reiki master when I was a child in the Cherokee, from the Cherokee, teaching me herbs and different things that would heal people. I watched it when I was little, and I'll never forget this. There was a lady that came over one day, and as soon as I saw her, I said, "They're two." I was like 5. And the lady looked at me, "What do you mean by two?" I said, "You have 2 babies." My grandmother looked at me and goes, "How do you know she's having twins?" I said, "I see the babies." And the lady was like, "What?" She had ended up going back to her doctor, and the doctor said, "Hey, you're pregnant with twins." And this is 1970.
Mm.
Yeah, because I was born in 65. So I'm telling this lady she's having twins. She comes back, tells my grandmother, goes, "How the hell does that child know I got twins? He's 5." He goes, "Well, he sees things. He hears things."
Yeah.
And it's funny. She had a little boy and a little girl. She named the little boy after me.
Oh.
You did Blaine. Yeah. And named the little girl after my grandmother, whose name was Regina.
Now, once you discovered your gifts,
Mhm.
was it? It sounds like they were quite strong early. Did they
Yes.
evolve as you grew up, or?
I get more evolved every day. Now the hardest thing for me was my grandmother was my teacher. It was helping me with this because growing up in the South, you didn't tell nobody you saw ghosts. It's
Yeah.
we're in the middle of the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
Church is coming down on you, or they're gonna put you in one of the padded rooms. Well, I was told never to tell anybody. Well, my grandmother got remarried to a guy in the Air Force, and they moved away. So I lost all my protection. So I had to grow up with this by myself. I
Oh.
had to learn this, and I can tell you some of the stuff that I saw for 5, 6, 7, 8 years old is petrifying. I mean, I would see stab victims, shot victims, electrocuted victims. Their spirits would come to me because I was like a beacon to them.
Yeah.
So they show up, and it's like I didn't know how to handle it, and it scared me to death. Now, some of it was funny. Now, some of it was really funny. My grandmother's sister husband had passed, and in the South, anytime somebody dies, somebody from the church is going to show up for the family.
Yeah.
Well, her husband that had just recently passed was a very jealous man. He did not like other in this house. If he didn't know you, he didn't want you in his house. Well, they came to the door, and of course, you got the whole family there. We opened the door and let them in. Well, he didn't like that idea of 2 strange men coming into his house because he didn't go to church. My aunt did, but he didn't go to church. He'd sit there and watch church on TV, and that was his church. Well, they came to the house. I watched this vase lift off a mantle by the fireplace and fling toward the door out.
Wow.
And I heard him screaming. Nobody else heard. I heard him screaming when he threw it. "Get the hell out of my house." I laughed. I thought it was hilarious. Other people in the house were like, "What the hell just happened?" I'm laughing because I knew what happened. but I couldn't say anything that I knew what happened. So since I had to grow up like that without guidance,
Yeah.
Lee, her whole family was into the business. You know, they were all in the paranormal. So
Yeah.
she had them to help guide her. Now I'm making a point, like if there's children that have psychic gifts or have abilities, I will not hesitate to help them because I didn't get the help that I should have had. I had to do this the hard way on my own. And I don't want another child to have to ever go through what I went through, seeing all these praying, you know? And so actually me, Lee, her mom, and her husband. Now they added Gwen to the book later, but we wrote a book called Psychic Kids.
Yeah.
And it's basically a guide for the parents that have psychic kids, tell them how to deal with their children, to help their children, show support for the children, not mock them. And we've got, I don't know how many responses out of that people. We do events, and that's one of the classes we teach. And we have mothers show up with their children. I've had fathers show up with their children because they don't know all of this stuff. All they know is what they saw on a Ghost Hunters, TV show.
Yeah. And that's usually exaggerated and, not
It's traumatized.
over. Yeah. Traumatized.
It's traumatized because I said if I ever do a TV show, there's going to be 3 conditions. I'm going to get creative control of what I do. You're not going to put words in my mouth, and you're not going to edit stuff out and change stuff on me, and I won't back in. And they all look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, you're going to make money off it. Why shouldn't I? You know? Like when we filmed, now I got to say, when we filmed for Monster Quest.
I was just going to ask you about that.
Oh, dude, that was the best experience I've ever had. And I'll tell you a little backstory. All right, I just got over cancer, and they were doing their filming in Seattle because that's where the company's from. Well, I couldn't fly at the time because I was told by my doctors I couldn't fly because I literally just had a feeding tube put in, and I couldn't fly. So they made special arrangements for me. They flew to Nashville, said, "Can you drive to Nashville?" I'm like, "Yeah, Nashville's 5 hours away. No problem." Dude, they put me up in a real fancy hotel, 5-star hotel. I had a production assistant that picked me up at the airport, took me to the hotel, then handed me a voucher for food. Said, "Yeah, give this to wherever you go eat, and we'll pay the bill." So I went and had me a nice steak that night in Nashville. I stayed in a real nice hotel, and I filmed the next morning. And it took about 5 hours to film. When you get, I think it's like my episode, you got maybe 4.5, 5 minutes of total airtime.
Yeah.
But you're there for 5 hours, and they were just so kind. I had the greatest experience filming with them, and they paid me pretty well. And I knew on that, something like that, I wasn't going to ask for back end. I wish I had, because my episode's been on now like 17, 18 times. It's like every time I flip to the History Channel, it's like, "Hey, I'm on TV again." It's a running joke in my house. No, my wife will come and go, "Hey, you're on TV again."
No, yeah, I saw that you had been on it. I haven't got a chance to catch the episodes. For me, I watch podcasts more than I watch. I like
if you don't watch any shows, watch my episode, Lee's episode, Gwen's episode comes on Friday night.
Yeah,
this Friday.
This Friday.
Where are you located?
I'm in northern New York. I'm about an hour from Montreal.
It'll be 10 o'clock your time then.
Okay.
But yeah, Lee's episode was really good. I was very proud of the way they portrayed me. I was so worried that they were going to make me look like some dumb hick from Alabama. I have the accent. I'm actually very intelligent. I have like a 170 IQ. I'm very smart. I may not sound like I'm that smart, but I am actually very smart. And I'm like, please don't make me look like one of those people describing the meth lab hit by a tornado. That's my worry, but they made me look good. And I had a blast filming. And it's just, I've been on TV. Let's see. I filmed with Lee on Repossessed. I filmed another show on the Science Channel called Mission Unexplained. and then this one for Monster Quest. And so that was my third time filming. And I enjoyed it. Now, I've been on TV before. When I played baseball at Bama, I was on TV a lot because, the interviews on the news or they show the games or.
Yeah.
This is funny. My TV actually started when I was a kid on Romper Room because we lived 4 houses down, same side of the road the graveyard was on. There was a TV station. We went there and I filmed. I was on Romper Room for about 4 months.
Oh,
yeah.
I used to watch that when I was a kid.
Yeah. Lee was on Romper Room. That's what makes it funny. Now, I'll tell you something funny about me and Lee. Okay, we're actually related. Lee's husband, Matt, his dad was my commander over here at Maxwell Air Force Base.
Oh.
So I've known Lee and Matt forever. And I think it's funny that we're actually related. We're both part of the Cherokee tribe of South Carolina. So is Gwen. Gwen's a tribe member too.
Yeah.
And I have to thank Lee for that because I've always wanted my Cherokee heritage recognized. But I'll tell you a story about my grandmother's family that was Native American, Cherokee. Well, they fought for Andrew Jackson during the War of 1812. And he promised them all land. He promised them all 40 acres of land if they fought with him. And as soon as they fought with him, help him win, he had the Trail of Tears. He marched them all off. Well, some of my family got smart. They went and hid in the hills. I mean, up the mountains, and they never stayed anymore. I love the story my grandmother told it to me. Is they never stayed more than 2 days in the same place, and you could never tell that they was ever there because they made it look like natural again. They stayed up in the hills for over 20 years. Wow. And finally, they sent one of them to town to see what was going on, to spy to see what was going on. And there were other Native Americans that did the same thing, and they were already in town and told them, "Hey, you're okay now. They're not sending Cherokee no more." So they all finally came down out of the hills, and our side, mine and Lee's, how we're related, is one of our ancestors had moved from South Carolina down to Alabama and opened up another branch of the tribe because women and the Cherokee own everything. Men didn't own nothing. The women owned everything. It was a matriarchal society.
Yeah.
Well, she had started another clan down here, and that's where my grandmother came from. But the one that came down from South Carolina also had children that Lee was related to. So that's how we're related.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty cool because I love Lee to death. Look, I call her my sister, and she is my sister because I call her my baby sister. And because we have that kind of connection with each other. Her and Matt are two of my best friends in the whole world. Matt's military, so that's why we get along fine. And plus, he's a paranormal investigator like the rest of us, so that's what we get along. Sorry, I do apologize. I got to keep drinking because the throat cancer I had makes me have real bad dry mouth.
Oh, not a problem.
Thank goodness. But the recovery period is, let me tell you, it is the hardest thing I've ever done because I still don't have full strength. Sorry. I'm recovering day by day, but it just made me stronger. And now I get to do what I do because for a while, because I had throat cancer, I couldn't talk. Yeah. And I hate not being able to talk, man. I love communicating with people,
Yeah.
And when I could finally get to talking again, I started doing our shows again with Lee and Gwen. And that's therapy for me just to get to do a show. I love doing these. You're probably about the 6,000 or 7,000 show I've done over the years. We started, this is going to date us. I started back in the old days when we only had Blog Talk Radio. That's when I started doing radio, man. No video, no. The setup today is so much nicer. And then I went to a couple of different, networks and stuff that did podcasts. We didn't call them we didn't call them podcasts. We just call them radio shows, internet radio shows. Had a blast doing them. Now I love this format a lot better. It's a lot better because you can see each other and react off of each other and just have a good time doing what you're doing. But yeah, I'm just I thank the Great Spirit every day, for giving me my health back, not letting me die.
Yes.
I was like, I don't want to die. At the time when I got cancer, I was 59. I'm like, I don't want to die at 59. There's too much stuff I want to do. You know,
Yeah.
there's places I want to go and places I want to investigate at and hang out with my friends, to see my granddaughter and my daughter, and to spend more time with my wife and my dogs.
Yep. That's great that you're cancer free.
Thank you, man.
I unfortunately lost my mother this past September to cancer.
Hate to
So,
hear that. I lost my
uh,
dad 3 years ago. It's
so
it's weird how cancer works sometimes, because it started out in my dad's pancreas, and then it went from his pancreas to his liver to his stomach to his chest to his head. 13 days after he was diagnosed, he passed. But I tell you what, that man, he made sure he got to tell everybody goodbye, because he wouldn't. I kept telling him, said, "All right, Dad." When we finally, the last person that came to see him, I said, "Dad, there's nobody else left. You've seen everybody that you wanted to see." And 2 days later, he was done. He told my mom, because I'd already left at the time to come back up here, because they live in South Alabama. And I didn't want to watch my dad die. I didn't want to see him pass, because I, everything I did growing up was with my dad. That was my protector. That was my mentor, because I didn't have anybody else, And but I love the fact that I can hear my dad. My dad comes to me. He comes to Lee a lot more than he does me. Go figure that one. He'll just show up when Lee's not feeling good or something. He'll just show up at Lee's house and go, "How you doing, baby? You okay? Take care of Blaine for me." And then her mom will come to me and go, "Take care of Lee for me." I said, "Mama, you know I always will. I've taken care of her for probably 40 past lifetimes. You think I'm gonna stop now?"
yeah. Well, speaking of Lee and Gwen, I know you do a couple podcasts with them on the All Access Network. The for my audience that isn't familiar, can you tell me about those?
Yeah, Monday nights with them. Now we're gonna switch days here probably in a couple of weeks, but on Monday night right now we have supernatural murderers. We talk about murders that have supernatural side to them, where it might be the person thought he was satanic, like Son of Sam, or religions that stop people from getting treatment they need.
Yeah.
We've done that episode before, and on Tuesdays right now at 5:30 or 6:30 your time. Everything, I won't say everything is going to be on Eastern time, because that's where your audience is.
Yeah.
We do a show on Tuesday night called Family Spirits. And that one's are more of a paranormal show. We have great guests on there. We got a bunch of good ones coming up. We actually have the guy that's the owner of Monster Quest coming on the show I think on the 23rd of February.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to talking to him, because when we actually filmed, they didn't have a name for the show yet. They didn't know what they were going to call it. They didn't know when it was coming out. All they said, "We'll let you know." And I gotta say, Laura Morini, who was the executive producer of the show, wonderful woman. She let us all know, say, like, "Okay, Blaine, yours is the second episode. Lee's yours is the fifth. Gwen's yours is the sixth." Now, they didn't have an episode this past Friday because of the Olympics.
Yeah.
So we had to wait another whole week for Gwen's episode. But I think she's nervous about it, but I think she's going to do well. I think she's going to kick ass and take names. And it was exciting to do, because my whole family watched it. I probably had over 1,000 people watch, just that I knew, family and friends. I thought it was just, it was an honor that they would, take their time to go watch me on TV. They're like, "Yeah, you're the first Rohan ever on TV." I said, "No, I've been on TV for a lot of things."
Yeah,
but it was national TV, worldwide TV, because History Channel goes all over the world. So, it was a great experience to film with them. When I filmed with Lee, I never made it on the episode, but I got credited as a paranormal consultant. Now, this is funny. On Repossessed episode 8, there is a fight between a spirit and two other spirits that they call on SLS camera. Well, one of the spirits fighting the spirit was my spirit guide named Jana. She's a Native American woman that died like 900 years ago. And Lee's spirit guide, Minnie, was the other one fighting. They were the first two spirit guides ever to get credited on a TV show.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I just laugh. It's like, yeah, I couldn't make it on her episode, but my spirit guide did. Yeah, that was quite fun, man.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. So, kind of switching gears a little bit, but as a empath medium, can you explain to the audience how that kind of works? And
Sure. An empath, you feel emotions, okay? Like you're happy, mad, sad, glad, whatever you are. We pick up on emotions. I can walk into a room, just say, I don't know if you're married or not. I'm going to just say you're married. And
Yeah.
right before I walk in, you and your wife have been fighting. When I walk in, you're all smiles and happy again. I pick up on that energy of that anger that you guys were fighting with each other. Okay. I do that with spirits and humans. Okay.
Oh,
Being a medium, I'm not, and I'll say this, my name is not Miss Cleo. I'm not a psychic. I'm a medium. I'm a go-between between spirits in that realm and people in this realm. Okay. So I pick up on spirits. They come to me a lot. Some of them, like now, it doesn't bother me no more. And I can tell you, who your spirit animals were because my spirit guides tell me who your spirit animal was or who your spirit guides or your angels or whatever religion you want to call them. But you have protector. Every person, this is according to Cherokee legend, has 7 generations of spirits that are family or friends that protect over you and watch over you every day. They have been before you were born. Okay. But yeah, I see them, I hear them. They like to get physical with me. I've had everything you could have done. I've had my hair pulled. I didn't have this long, beautiful hair back then when I was Air Force. It was all real short. I had spirits, pull little short hairs on my head. That didn't feel too good. I always have children spirits that like to play with your beards. Women spirits like to play with them too. Men spirits like to be more rough. They like to hit you, push you down, kick you. And every time it happens, I just call it a badge of honor because it didn't kill me. I'm okay.
yeah.
I mean, I've been thrown down flights of stairs, and luckily I just got barely bruised. And I stand up and like, all right, I'm good, and I'll go right back up the stairs, no problem. It's like, and I'll tell you a funny one, dude. We're in Gettysburg, and we're standing. There's a train station up there. We're standing up there, and at the time, nobody's smoking. Nobody was around us. There was 5 of us, and nobody was smoking. It was just us 5. Nobody else was around the train station. Well, I get the smell of this cheap cigar hit me right in the face. I mean, it's right, like, oh, God, dude, let's get about a better cigar. And I guess he didn't like the fact that I like a cigar, and he punched me in the face. Hit me in the nose, dude. And this became physical. Then he hit me so hard, my nose started bleeding. My eyes watered up. I'm like, what the hell, dude? And I heard him go, that was you, Johnny Reb. I'm like, I fought for the United States. Well, you still talk like Johnny Reb. That's what I remember him saying. I said, do me a favor, do not hit me again.
Yeah.
Because you won't like what I do. Because I have other spirits to protect me, and they're just chomping at the bit to stomp a mud hole in. So he didn't hit me no more, but I was like, damn. Yeah, that's the worst I've had. Like getting pushed, kicked, shot, stabbed. Now, the weirdest one in hell in Georgia, we're in this old library that used to be a house. Well, come to find out, at one time it was the hospital before they built a new hospital. And I got to feel like what was like to be pregnant. That was interesting. Let me tell you. Something no man should ever have to feel, but I did. They let me know that, hey, this is what it feels like. And before I got other people to help me, like Lee was one of the big ones, I didn't know how to tell them no. Because the spirits would just flock to me, especially a place like a hospital. I feel the gunshots, the stabs, the burnings, all that stuff. And I had like 40 of them rush me at one time. And they all want to show me at the same time what went on with them. And finally, I just said, please stop, this hurts. And then I called Lee. I said, Lee, what will I do? So I don't know how to stop all this. She said, tell them to stop. Tell them to tell you, not show you. And I was like, okay, thanks, Lee. I said, please, you can just tell me. I could hear you. I could see you. Don't show me again. And from then on, I mean, they come at me. I'm like, okay, appreciate you. Back off. Just tell me what's going on. I can help you. But do not show me anymore, because, you know, I've had it done enough. I know what everything feels like now. I'm good. You know?
Yeah. Have you ever encountered something evil or, you know, on
Okay, let me tell you, as long as I've been doing this, okay, I've never run anything across demonic. I had two brother spirits acted like they were demonic. They were talking like this. I said, okay, I see you, I hear you. Let me hear your big boy voice now. Oh my God, dude. It was like, I'm sorry, Mr. Blaine. I'm sorry, Mr. Blaine. They were trying to scare. Well, what they were doing, the reason we were at the house, because they were attacking a lady and her little daughter who's autistic. And I asked them, I said, why the hell are y'all messing with a woman and a child? And the exact words I got out of them was, it was a blast. I said, oh, I bet it's going to be a blast when I put my foot up your ass too. And I wasn't provoking. I was letting them know what was going on. Well, my spirit got Jana, best spirit guide ever. She says, hold on, I'll be right back. Next thing I hear is this woman, female voice. Their mama, Jana went and got their dead mother. And I don't know about New York, but my mother said something when I was young. I was like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
She lit into them too. Like she was just fixing to go tear a whole tree down to beat them with the switch. And all of her, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No, mama. No, mama. I'm busting out laughing at this time. We've got this all on Ghostbox. It's coming through loud and clear. So, and this is people that they've only investigated like 4 times in their whole life. They've never seen any shit like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy crap. Jana brought their mama. That dude was so damn funny. I died laughing. It's like, yeah, you're messing with a little girl with a woman now, huh? What you gonna do now? Mama's here. And we sit back and said, listen, this is gonna be fun. We listened to the whole conversation of mama just chewing them up one side down the other. And next thing I hear is them screaming because she grabbed both of them by the ears. And snatched them, took them back to another dimension. So, you know, they got disciplined in another dimension. And I hate to see what happened to them boys after she got them back where she was taking them to. I don't know. Wish I could have been there to see that. That would have been glorious.
She probably took them out to the woodshed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, that was interesting. And I'll tell you another cool thing I saw while investigating. I don't know if you've ever heard of Sloth's Furnaces here in Alabama.
Yeah, I have.
Okay. At one time, they let you do ghost hunts. Now it's like they do a bunch of weddings and bar mitzvahs and other stupid stuff. They don't let you investigate. Well, we were doing an event there, and we were using one of Frank Shumpton's boxes, one of his first ones he made, one of the first ghost boxes. Well, we're sitting there in the boiler room, and this young lady that was beside me, I watched her with her camera. I watched her take her camera, open the back of it, take the 2 batteries out of the back, put them in her right pocket, then grabbed her left pocket because that's where she had the fresh batteries. Before she got the batteries in, I heard this explosion. It sounded like a shotgun going on. I literally watched her camera go from about that big to about that big in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought at first maybe that it was something with the batteries. I'm like, wait a minute, she never got them in the damn camera. So I grabbed the camera from her, and I'm looking for like structure marks and tears where the screws are. Nothing. I took the batteries from, I put them back in the camera and started taking pictures with it. It worked fine. Well, I had that camera probably till about 2 years ago, and we were cleaning out some stuff, donating it to the animal shelter. We donate like clothes and stuff like that. I donated the camera because it was an older digital camera. I figured some kid could use it to play with because I know it wasn't haunted no more. But then see that thing, dude, it was so cool hearing that thing go off like a shotgun. It was pretty badass.
So I also read, I think that you're a shaman as well.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How did that come about?
My grandmother taught me when I was little. She taught me how to do Reiki in the Cherokee form, and she also taught me how to be a shaman because most of your shaman are female, okay? But her daughters didn't want nothing to do with it, and I was a willing participant, so she taught me.
Yeah.
She taught me about getting the different herbs that you needed, the different weeds and stuff that could use for medicines. I wish I would have remembered a lot of that when I was growing up, but she left before I could get into it good. So she started me on my path. And then our tribe actually appointed me as a shaman because of Lee's recommendations. And he's an energy healer, he's a shaman. He needs that title. So I do have that title with the Cherokee tribe of South Carolina, as well with Lee Brown.
Yeah.
So we're our two tribe shamans. So
that's very nice.
Yeah, that's how I became a shaman.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting. I wanted to ask you about it. I mentioned it in the intro because I thought it was so interesting.
Yeah, and I love it. Shaman is more of a South American term. Yeah, but now it's accepted, so all the tribes use the name of a shaman. So yeah, that's how I got to be a shaman. I'm actually what's technically called an energy healer, which a shaman is. They do healings, they talk to spirits, all kind of fun stuff that we get to do.
Yeah. One of the other questions, I think that I read that you go onto the historical battlefields quite a bit. What kind of energy?
Let's see, I've been to Gettysburg, Shiloh, Andersonville. Oh, what's the ones in Virginia? There's a few of them in Virginia I've been to. I've been to Gettysburg more than all of them. I've probably been to Gettysburg like 30 times because I love the history part and I love the ghosts. It's history and ghosts. So I get both. So I get double. Now, Andersonville was interesting. It was a Civil War prisoner of war camp for Northern soldiers. Well, we get there and literally as soon as I get out of the car, I've got my recorder going. I hear them in my ear. I hear these two different male spirits just right after each other go, "I'm not dead. I'm not dead." I was like, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I love the battlefields. Shiloh was fun. I'm trying to think of the one in Virginia that we went to because it's not a battlefield anymore. There's a restaurant bar that's on it now.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I can't think of it.
I've done some other forts like Fort Morgan down here in Alabama. That one's pretty haunted. I've got some good stuff there. Geronimo was actually kept there.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we got Geronimo contact us one night when we were doing a box session down there. Yeah. And he spoke in broken English, which was cool because it's like, this is freaking Geronimo. I've had Lincoln come through ghost box sessions before. I've had George Washington come through. I've had endless amounts of Confederate and Union soldiers come through at battlefields or forts. Fort Delaware was a funny one. A friend of mine, this is the first time she'd ever seen a ghost box. And this is the old Shack Hack days. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it was a radio you could buy from Radio Shack. And there was a little pin in there. You took the pin out and it rode through the channels. Well, that was, one of the first things of ghost boxes. And a soldier there loved my friend. He was a bugle player. So all the first we were getting was, him warming his lips up. And then you hear, like, oh, dude, that was pretty cool. Do that again. And then there was like a voice came through. It was like, only if she smiles. I'm looking at her. You better smile.
What kind of energies do you find on the battlefields?
It's a mixed emotion. You feel the anger, the fear, the frustration, the desperation, the enthusiasm. Like when they're charging for battle, you get that enthusiasm, but it's like all rolled up into one. You get them all at one time.
Oh,
and then most of it was anger and fear, though, because I've been in areas where they shot rockets and mortars at us. I know how they felt, but they were getting shot at, and you didn't know if you were going to live through that battle or your buddy was going to live through that battle, or how many of the enemy you were going to kill that day. And you had to live with that.
Yeah.
Because it was Americans fighting Americans.
Yeah.
And some of them were, brothers or cousins that
Fighting
fought against each other. You're fighting your own brother, your own cousin. You're fighting blood. And you might know 4 or 5 of the other guys on the other side. You might have grown up together or you did stuff together. And now all of a sudden you have to shoot at each other. So you had that anxiety. You had that, God, I really want to shoot my buddy, or I want to shoot my brother or my cousin. But you're in war. You got to do what you got to do. And they knew that. And so they did what they had to do. So that's the kind of feelings you get on battlefields, especially for me. I try to sympathize with all of them, both sides. I've tried to help as many of the soldiers on both sides to cross over that I can. And I don't do it because, Blaine said, hey, you need to cross these people. My spirit goes to them, hey, you need to cross these. And I'll ask myself, do you want to cross? Do you want to go see your family again? And I've only had maybe one turn me down because he didn't know what his family would think. I'm like, okay, you're going to be with them spiritually, not physically. He thought he was going back physical.
Oh,
but yeah, I've crossed them. And I have to explain this for you off here. All right. What happens when you cross a spirit is it's like when you're born, you take your first steps, you go to school, you graduate, you get married, whatever you do. But you have steps that you have to do to get to the point where you die. Okay. Yeah. Spiritual world's not much different. They have steps that they have to take. They have levels they have to go through. They can go through several layers because their time is not the same consistent time as ours. Like this whole episode we're doing, they could have went into like 30, 40 different more levels. They can come back to any level they were at except for the human body they left.
Oh.
But they learned lessons, like just say if they were a bad person in life. Well, they learned the lessons why they shouldn't be a bad spirit.
Yeah.
And so they can come back and redeem themselves or reinvent themselves where that part of their journey is no longer. Now, you don't have a lot of spirits when they do come back, and if they were like asses when they were alive, when they come back, they're not asses anymore. They're a whole different being, a whole different energy. So basically what they're doing is removing all the negative side from them and reinventing them with positive. Now, you're still going to get some that didn't cross back there, that had other lives that were good in this life, but now they want to be bad in this life.
Yeah.
So that's what happens with them.
Well, I don't know. This hour has gone by quite fast. I do have a couple more questions for you. I did see that you're going to be speaking at the Deep South Paracon in August.
Yes. I'm what they call a founding member of that Paracon. I've been to everyone except for last year because I couldn't go because of my cancer. But I still called down there. So technically I was still there, but not in body and mind. I was there in mind, but in spirit, but not in physical body. So going back this year, they moved it to a different location. Last year it was in Ozark, Alabama, and this year it's going to be in Enterprise, Alabama.
Oh, is it? I think I put, I had it marked as Ozark. So good thing you
cleared that up. They moved it. It's Ozark and Enterprise, or not far from each other, maybe 20 miles apart, if that. They just went to a nicer venue, a nicer civic center. And, it's run by my good friend, Stan and Trace Fikes, who always have Lee, myself, her husband, Matt, and Gwen's been there the last 3 years with us.
Very nice.
She'll be back with us this year. We're going to teach some classes. We'll probably teach the psychic kids class. We'll probably teach a Reiki class. We'll probably teach an animal spirit class, teach a spirit guide class. Usually those are pretty fun because I get to see what your spirit guide is and what your spirit animal is. Those are fun for me.
Yeah.
Sometimes they make me laugh. They really do. It's like I had one woman She was probably about 45, 50 years old. And her son was with her 19, 20-year-old son. And I said, your spirit animal is a cougar. It just suddenly said, we don't talk to my mama like that. I said, look, I'm just telling you what I see. I'm not calling her a cougar. I said her's a cougar. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll talk. We have so many people come up to our tables when we do these events. They want to know, hey, can you do a reading for me? Because I don't charge for my readings.
Okay.
If you want to donate something to me, I'm good with that. You know, bring me a hot dog, bring me a Coke, I'm good. I don't charge. I've been told by my spirit guides, if I ever charge, like directly, hey, I want you to give me $5 for this reading, my spirit guide, Jana, will take my gifts away like that. And I don't lose them. I embrace my gifts. It's part of who I am.
Yeah. But no, I saw that you and Lee and everyone were going to be there, so I figured I'd ask you about it because I was interested in learning a little bit more about it.
This is where we'll be this year. Okay. First, we do Gettysburg. We do the Gettysburg in July.
Yeah.
We do New Orleans end of July, early August, and we do Deep South Paracomic-Con August 8th and 9th. And then we go up to Massachusetts for the MassCon up in, I think it's in October, like October 5th.
Yeah, Sam Baltruis.
Baltruis, yeah. We know
yeah.
Sam.
Yeah.
We had him on the show a couple of times. Good guy.
Yeah, I'm friends with him on Facebook. I haven't had him on the show yet, but he's
a good guest, man. He really is. He's very knowledgeable.
It's to catch him when he's not overly busy.
That's you're right. It's like trying to get one's office.
But yeah, I'm hoping to get him on the show at some point this year. I'm actually doing my first Paracon in April, the end of April, the Vermont Horror, Fantasy, and Sci-Fi.
I know, man.
Nathaniel Elwell's going to be there.
Oh, Nathaniel's on network.
Yeah, he's going to be there as well.
You get to meet him and Morgan. Have Morgan do a reading for you. His girlfriend.
Yeah,
she's good.
She's good. That she is.
Me and Liam offered to help train her because she was thrown out in the wolves like we were, like I was.
Yeah.
So I told her, if you ever need any help with it, let me know. I'll do it for free because I know you have gifts, but I want to help you with your gifts and let you know what other gifts you're getting. But she's pretty good.
Yeah, they're going to be there. They're going to be there. And then I think also Adam Barry's going to be there.
Oh, Adam's real nice.
I've never met him.
He's really nice. He's a real nice guy. He's very, very good around people. Now, some of them, I'll say this. Some of them, you get up there and they're uppity as hell, think their shit don't stink. Well, Adam's not like that. He's one of those good that'll talk to you like Zaffis will. John Zaffis.
Yeah.
You come to John will have John will have you crying. If you ever do a conference with John Zaffis, have him do a Southern Gentleman for you. It will have you rolling. We did a whole 2-hour show with John doing a Southern Gentleman. Nobody knew it was Zaffis until the end of the show. Oh, he doesn't just have you crying, laughing.
But no, I'm excited. It's gonna be my first one. I'm supposed to be on some of the panels. I'm gonna have a booth to promote my YouTube and all of that.
Let me tell you, dude, you will have so many new friend requests after you do your first con because it's like somebody come up to you and go, hey, your YouTube's here. Hey, what's your Facebook page? Bam, let me send you a friend request. You'll probably walk out with at least 30, if not more. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited, and
right on. It should be. They're fun.
Yeah, I'm hoping to make a few others, but I'm not sure about for this year. But
yeah,
the Vermont one for now. I'd really like to go to the MassCon and the main con if I could make it there. So I've heard both of them are very good.
Very good. So try to see if you can make it to the Gettysburg one in July.
The Gettysburg one is I've never been to Gettysburg.
Oh, dude. I'll take you to places in Gettysburg they don't show it on the tourist maps. I know back road places over there because I've investigated it so many times. I have friends that live in Gettysburg, like their locals, like, no, you don't want to go to Sachs Bridge. You want to go see it once, just say you saw it.
Yeah.
But there's another bridge. It's called the Eisenhower Bridge. It wasn't the Eisenhower Bridge when it was originally built. They put the Eisenhower Bridge back there in 53, 54. And it's no longer used anymore. Yeah. That place is very active. there is a school, an elementary school that has an outdoor classroom behind the school that's on the battlefield. And you
Oh,
can go there. It's very active because you can't actually investigate the battlefield at night anymore. But
yeah.
if you're at the old school, all you do is go to the town constable or sheriff. Hey man, this is what we're doing. We're paranormal investigators. We're going back to the old school, and we'll come back and tell them when we're done. So
Yeah.
let them know we're through back there. And we never touch the school. We go walk through the grounds of the school, walk through the fence that goes right to the classroom. We'll go out there and investigate there. And I've never had an issue with them of us going back there. We actually had a couple of cops come back there and want to investigate with us.
Yeah, I recent about a month or so ago, I have had one of the tour guides, Milt Carnes from the Farnsworth Inn.
Love the Farnsworth. They got
That
good
was
food.
yeah, it was he kind of took us through all the different, ghosts within there and all of that. It was very interesting. I was
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
in history. So
You know what's funny? They always talk about the Jeannie Wade house. Jeannie Wade actually lived across the street. She was at her sister's house making lunch when the battle started. So I always laugh when they say it's the Jeannie Wade house. I said, no, that was her sister Sarah's house.
well, it was very nice to have you on.
It was my pleasure, man.
Where can people find you if they'd like to learn more?
Sure. I'm on Facebook. I'm only Blaine Rohan on Facebook, BlaineRohan. You can find me on All Access Network every Monday and Tuesday. Soon to be Wednesday, because I'll have another show coming out on Wednesdays next month with another gentleman that's just starting a podcast. So I'm going to help him get him up to speed where he can do his podcast. My YouTube channel is called The Haunted Syndicate. And that was an old show name that I had. And I've always just kept the name because I thought it was pretty cool. I had the Ghost Mafia and the Haunted Syndicate as two of my shows.
Yeah.
And I'm a big, the three things I love is ghost, pirates, and mafia. I'm fascinated by them. I've got a mafia tattoo. I've got a pirate tattoo. But yeah, you can find me on my YouTube or just find us on All Access Network.
Okay.
Because I think we have like 17 new shows or 17 shows.
There's a ton of them. Yeah, there's a ton of new ones.
We're fixing to get more.
So
we're fixing to grow by leaps and bounds.
Yep.
And I just love being on the network. You ought to come over the network and join us, man.
Oh, maybe sometime. I am thinking about possibly starting to go live instead of recorded over the summer. Yeah. So
do that, dude, because that way you have a chat room in there, especially if you with StreamYard, you'll have a chat room in there. Let us know once you start to go live, dude, and we'll share your stuff out just like we do all of our people. Get you out there, man, because we don't exclude people. That's why we call it an all access network, so all voices can be heard.
Yeah.
But we support each other. I have friends like Stan and Teresa have their own network. We share stuff with them. We share their stuff out. They share our stuff out. Some other friends that I know that have their own networks. We share stuff with each other and get our stuff out there for each other. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, I share quite a bit of the All Accesses shows.
I see that. I appreciate that. We really appreciate that.
So yeah, I appreciate you guys. When I know that you guys have been sharing out some of my stuff as well. So it's great.
Well, let me know this one's coming on, and I'll make sure it gets shared out where people can watch it.
Yep. We could talk a little bit after too, but once I have it all ready and have the release date ready, I'll send it over to you.
Yeah, send it over to me and Lee, and we'll make sure it gets out there for Lee's episode. I don't know if Gwen's has already aired or not.
Gwen's has already aired, and actually, we're recording. It's the February 11th. Jeremy Cotter's episode actually came out at 5:00 tonight. So,
right on. Yeah, I'm supposed to be on Jeremy's show, I think next Wednesday.
I'm going on in March. I'll be on it in March.
Oh, right on. Well, you'll be on All Access. Yeah.
So, and I'll be on Nate's in April. So,
again, on All Access Network.
So, it's been, great. You've shared so many stories. I'll have to have you on again Because I imagine you have
Believe
tons
me, I have
more.
more. I have a lot more. I gave you a little tip of the iceberg. I've been doing this for 41 years. I've got some good spooky stories of places I've investigated. So,
Yep. Well, I thank you again. And if for my people out there, if you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. Share this with someone who needs to hear some of Blaine's stories, because he had some great ones tonight. And remember, history never truly dies. It just finds new ways to haunt us. Until
Yes.
next time, keep digging into the darkness.